is Aaron at PowerPopaholic.com. Today I'm talking with Ian Ash from the band The Last Bees. How are you today, Ian?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you, Aaron?
Great. Let's talk about this wonderful new little EP that you put out here by The Last Bees, basically introducing you to this sort of Beatlesque pop, which I think a lot of fans of Power Popaholic love here. And tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this.
Well, I've always been a big Beatles fan since I was a kid, and it's funny because most of my life, people had always kind of told me, don't, kind of steer away from writing music like that. It's not so modern. You should try writing other things. But anyway, as an experiment, I kind of just wrote this one song in December, and I was just kind of inspired by the success Greta Van Fleet was doing with their throwback thing, and I just kind of sensed that there was some nostalgia in the air, and so I wrote this one song, and I kind of modeled it after the early Beatles, and people reacted really positively to it, and my manager thought I should try to write a whole collection of songs in that style, so that's what I did.
Great. Were you in, bands previous to this, or doing a lot of music work prior?
I mean, I've been writing for a long time, and I guess I was performing under my, self as a solo name, and I kind of had, a backing band, and they kind of developed the nickname Ian and the Dream and whatever. But The Last Bees is a totally new direction. That's just, so different than anything we've done in terms of the whole approach. So, yeah, it's just kind of been refreshing to immerse myself in this new style.
Cool. Well, I can tell you this. I, for one, loved it. And I'm an older dude who's listened to a lot of Beatles-styled bands over the years. And I think you hit it on the nose as far as, the approach, the feel, the tempo, everything. It's like you're using sort of like the template of the Beatles, but you don't exactly sound exactly like them. You're not, replicating them or doing a tribute. It's more like you're turning their template into your own music, which I think is the right way to go with anyone who starts to do this kind of stuff.
Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate that. I mean, I think a lot of people, Lennon-McCartney is just a great template to use, period, right? I mean,
yeah.
Almost no matter what style you're writing, but yeah, I mean, I always try to make it my own thing. I can't be anybody I'm not. So the reason it works for me is because I guess I always taught myself how to write and how to play basing on the Beatles, so it just comes natural, when you love it that much.
Who else do you listen to? I mean, other than the Beatles, who else are your influences?
Oh, man. Well, besides being a big oldies nerd and listening to all the other oldies music like the Beach Boys and all that doo-wop stuff, mm-hmm. I mean, I also like a lot of songwriters that value melody, so I mean, I love Oasis, and Noel Gallagher is a great songwriter. I love Weezer and Rivers Cuomo. I think he's a great songwriter. I just like songwriters that still write interesting melodies to go with their chord progressions and, write good lyrics with metaphors. And, I just kind of am more of a classic songwriting guy, I just prefer songs that stand alone well when you're just performing them on an acoustic guitar singing or on a piano singing, and that don't need a huge studio to stand up as a good song, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So right now The Last Bees has their album out, the 6 songs. Did you have a favorite among those 6?
Oh, that's a great question. I guess, one of the cool things that happened in the 6 was I got to co-write with Jim Peterick, who is a great songwriter. He's written some of my all-time favorite songs, like Eye of the Tiger and Vehicle. And
cool.
But yeah, so I wrote a song with him that's on the EP called True or False. So that was one of my favorite experiences on the EP, was writing with him.
Nice.
But as far as favorite songs go, I mean, it's tough. I guess I'm partial to either Can't Wait or The Final Sting, just because they came together so organically. Can't Wait was just for the fun experiment of it, and then The Final Sting was just kind of written off the cuff after everyone was like, yeah, we should dive completely into this project. And I just had a great meeting with my manager, and I got home and I wrote that one right away. So I guess I'm partial to those because they came together so organically,
No, that's a coincidence. I love The Final Sting. That's my favorite song on the entire album. I thought it was amazing. And so I know you're based in Milwaukee. You'll be playing at events in Illinois, or where's the tour going to support this album?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we like to play around the Midwest area, so there'll definitely be some dates in Illinois as well. We're doing some dates in Wisconsin now. But yeah, we like to do state fairs and county fairs and festivals and clubs and whatnot. So, and we can find all those dates up on thelastbees.com.
Let me ask another question. So since this 6-track EP is out and we're promoting it now, I know it's a little early to think ahead to the next album or the next project, but are you thinking to do possibly another Last Bees album in the future, or are you looking to, move up the what I call the Beatles timeline and do something more in the psychedelic style, or is it you want to stick with this and stay with this template for a while and do a few more songs?
I think, let's see how people respond to this. I mean, so far the response to this has been really good on Spotify and stuff with the single. So, I think that I would definitely love to explore the later Beatles catalog. But I think that this sound is worth exploring a little bit too, and there'd be more of a gradual transition instead of just full-blown psychedelia. I didn't want to just cover it all so quickly. I wanted to really kind of immerse myself, much like the Beatles did themselves, in one style and period at a time.
Yes. I guess the other question I would ask you is basically, do you, when you write the songs, you usually come up with the chords and the melody first, or do you think of lyrics first?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, most of the time, I try to write both at the same time. Now, granted, the music comes a little more naturally, so I'll have a hook kind of pop in my head, a melodic hook, and I'll hear the chord progression behind it, and I'll hear the vocal melody in my head. That'll all kind of pop in there at once, one of the main hooks. And then from there, I just tried to write the lyrics right away. For this record, I really forced myself to not write with a computer much, unless I needed a rhyming dictionary or I was stuck for a rhyme or something. I didn't type out the lyrics. I really forced myself to write all these songs with pen and paper, which is great because it uses a different part of the brain, but than typing on a computer does. And so that really helped. But I think it was just getting inspired and using that template and going from there. What was the other part of the question? I'm sorry, the instrumentation? Or?
Yeah, the other part of the question was, what instrument do you? What instrument do you prefer playing? Yeah.
Yeah, I write on either guitar or piano, and those are the ones I'm most comfortable at. Even though I'm kind of accomplished in all the rock instruments, and I played all the instruments on the EP myself, but I feel most comfortable on guitar or piano, so I wrote all these songs on guitar, just again, to be true to kind of, early Beatles were kind of writing more on guitar than piano at that point, and I think that just kind of gave it a good feel,
Cool. My last question would be, I know you're doing you're playing at local dates across the state there. Are you thinking of ever coming to, New York or California or any place outside the local area?
I'd love to. I was just in South by Southwest last month, and that was fantastic. And that was kind of where we broke in some of the Last Bees stuff. I'd love to play in New York and California. In fact, I have a producer friend that I work with in LA that gets between those cities for a bit. So perhaps we'll be setting something up. We're definitely working on branching out here. It's a very new thing, but so far it's been growing and coming together very quickly and positively. So, I think that would be wonderful. I'd love to get out there and maybe even meet you, especially, Aaron.
Yes, great. Well, tell us again where people can pick up the album and where they can read about you, your website, your URL.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, going to thelastbees.com is going to be great because we have a Spotify player built in right there where you can listen to the whole album. Otherwise, if you're on Spotify, that's a great place to stream it or create a Last Bees station on iHeartRadio. Always thelastbees.com is a good portal to anything and everything.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ian, for your time. We appreciate the work you do and the music that you make. And stay in touch with us here at PowerPopaholic.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it.